Welcome back to News 360. It's now time for Mission, which is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Now, for residents of Belepong in the Wa East district of the Upper West region, accessing healthcare is a nightmare. The only CHIPS zone operates from a dilapidated structure. Meanwhile, one has to cross 5 rivers if referred, compelling residents to resort to self-medication. A health officer posted to the community says the lives of the people there are in danger. There's a report by Bright Nana Amfo.
Getting to Belepong is a challenge. A terrible road network and 5 rivers to cross. This is one of the many rivers you would have to cross if you are from Chawle or Belepong to the other side of the Wa East district. Now, healthcare givers have a huge task here, referring patients from the facility at Belepong or Chawle to the other side of the district. What they do is that they manage with what they can. Now, in the month of June and July, the river is totally filled up that no vehicle, motorbike, can cross to the other side. What healthcare givers do is to manage with the situation they have as far as caring for patients is concerned. This is the headache of healthcare providers.
Referral is a very big problem here. If you refer somebody to go to the nearby community or the health center to treat himself is a very big problem. The person look at the rivers that he will cross before getting to that place. How to get a means to that place, transport is very, very difficult here. And you have to do what you are not supposed to do.
This they would have managed, but this is the state of the facility. Providing health care for the people of Belepong is a challenge. My presence attracted the whole community. Having heard of my arrival, they came to tell me of horrible stories.
Somewhere June, July, August, September, you cannot cross to Kundugu. It means that if you are having a problem like referral to Kundugu, it's better you just go in and sleep in the house and wait for your death, because you can't cross the rivers. And where will you go?
The structure is for a deceased resident, and so in the midst of difficulties in accessing health care, they used it as a CHIPS compound. It is simply not good. It is dehumanizing to treat human beings in this. Over 800 people, men, women and children, seek health care in this facility. It is not designated for that. It belongs to a private person, but due to the fact that Belepong had no center, it was converted into a CHIPS zone. Now they struggle daily to access health care there. The in charge says he goes through a lot of difficulty just to care for these unfortunate ones. Referring them to the next center, Kundungu or Chawle, is a headache. Transportation is bad. They simply have to endure here. The structure could be blown away by strong winds, but that is what is available. Healthcare workers simply disadvantaged. If healthcare givers are disadvantaged, people who come here for treatment are more disadvantaged. For pregnant women, it is between life and death if you find yourself here.
When I came here, this is what the community had. They introduced me to the community people and I started work. This is what we have. We don't have any logistic here. No BP apparatus, no bed, nothing is there. So we are managing.
The District Assembly is struggling to come to the aid of the people of Belepong. The nearest facility is at Chawle, a fully completed CHIPS compound. But Kundungu is under construction.
Kundugu happens to be one of the zonal capital. So that is where most of the people that lives around the nearby communities, they come there to do their shopping, and there's a market there. So meaning the number of people that come to Kundugu is something that is encouraging. So we decided that once it is like this, it will be proper we site a health post at Kundugu so that it will be able to serve Kundugu itself and the nearby communities once Kundugu is at a central point. So that is why we have decided to put the health post at Kundugu.
As they filed out of the CHIPS compound, one thing on their mind is to get help so as to improve access to healthcare for the over 800 population of Belpong in the Wa East district of the Upper West region.
Let's do some other stories on Mission tonight. Now, they are the vulnerable, and so efforts at providing their needs have been intensified to ensure social inclusion. Hearing impaired students at the St. John's Integrated Senior High School in Navrongo sit in the same class with hearing students. Now, Bright Nana Ampo reports inadequate sign language interpreters is impacting negatively on the studies of hearing impaired students.
Over 700 student population. Some are hearing impaired students, yet they sit in the same class with the hearing. This is inclusive education.
I said, the asexual reproduction. Who can remember what the said? Who tried?
However, the hearing impaired are disadvantaged. Following lessons is difficult. Some classes have sign interpreters, but some other classes are without sign language interpreters.
Will I say the theoretical way? When they say, oh, the flaw of a plan.
Professional sign language teachers who are not enough, and those who are giving the support is a product of the school, the inclusion. Those young people you see helping to interpret are past students who picked the language and have come back to support.
This puts them at a disadvantage. Even the few available are challenged.
There is a sign teacher all right, and you can see them teaching, but there is some difficulty because the interpreters, some of them will have to sign for some classes for as long as 7 hours, and that's a worry to some of them because they get tired and they begin to lose focus.
If an interpreter interprets for 2 periods, his strength is always gone, and so he needs to be changed to rest.
Many students lose lessons, though they sit in class. Others have given up hope of developing themselves because of the frustration.
That sometimes they have problems in learning because if the interpreter is who is supposed to interpret what is being taught to them, they are not there, and they will sit idle throughout the lesson.
Some old students volunteer to help, but this is a temporary measure. The school is sponsoring them to pursue professional training to come back and help. In the difficulty, hearing students sign for hearing impaired students. Meet Patience. She can hear.
You can see Patience, one of the students in this class. Now, she's here also to learn. Teaching is ongoing, and she has to sit down and be part of what is being taught. But there are 3 hearing impaired students here. There is no sign interpreter, but Patience is able to sign. And so instead of her sitting down and paying attention to her teacher, she's compelled to get up and sign for these 3 to understand what the teacher is teaching. She's losing time with her teacher. She has to catch up after classes are over.
Teachers say this is a difficulty and puts such students at a disadvantage.
And a situation where, for instance, a sign language teacher is not in, and a good student in sign language is signing, is equally learning but we don't encourage that.
Anytime I'm signing, the teacher is talking, and I'm teaching and I'm signing. I also get the access to also take something, but not all. I have to also find time for myself and go and sit and learn what the teacher have taught.
The school runs 5 programs. If there are hearing impaired in all programs, the school will need about 30 sign language interpreters.
The point is that just imagine you're in a classroom and you are teaching as a master and there's no interpreter. Possibly the master might not be able to interpret it. These hearing impaired students are sitting down watching you. When you are teaching the hearing students, they feel like they are left out. Sometimes as a master, when you see their faces, you don't feel happy.
First-year hearing impaired students are given 1-year preparatory lessons before being integrated into the class of hearing students. This is to ensure smooth integration. In all these difficulties, the school has chalked successes.
Formally, students with hearing impairment go about in the community. They can't communicate with any other person apart from their fellow deaf. But now that has been minimized because the products of St. John's, especially around Naurungo, most of them are able to communicate when they meet hearing impaired.
Several students would have dropped out due to inadequate sign interpreters. School authorities want the Education Ministry to increase support to deepen inclusive education. Brighton Anafo, TV3.
And from the News Hub in Accra, my name is Solis Rose Corte. That's all for Mission. It is supported by Star Ghana with funding from Danida, the UK Aid and the European Union. Alfredo Kanse is standing by with more stories.